You're good.
I'll second it.
All right. All those in favor? Any opposed?
I don't know. I gotta figure out how to move these up.
Hearing none, we will proceed with the agenda as distributed. Now, Joanne, I apologize. You'll have to just help out. It's hard on these Zoom meetings because I can't see the agenda and Zoom at the same time.
No problem. So just give me a second here. So the next item, so we did the minutes, and then we have number 4, which is provincial requirements. How do the changes affect the community center?
Yes. And I anxiously await a report from Curtis on that.
Thanks, Kyle. I'm going to let Stephanie speak to that one because she's more in tune with it. But Steph, if you want to outline sort of the changes, or it might be easier just to outline the current restrictions, might be an easier way to put it.
I'll do my best. So the way the legislation's written is kind of vague, to be honest, yet again. So we have reached out to Niagara Region for some clarification on some items, but generally speaking, right now, we can be open. You don't need to do the COVID-19 passport system anymore. The only requirement is that each person does a self-assessment upon entering the facility, which would just really involve having like a page posted with the self-assessment screening. I'm sure we've all seen it.
Okay.
Each person would have to do before they enter the building. You wouldn't have to answer the questions. They wouldn't have to sign anything. It would just be, essentially asking them to do it upon their reservation request, saying, make sure you do this. The only thing that we have some vagueness about, which I've reached out to the region, and to be honest, by the time we get a response, it's probably going to be the next stage anyway, where there are no restrictions. But there might be a slight capacity restriction at like 50%, which I don't think would drastically affect anybody looking to rent within the next month. So I'd say it'd be safe to say within the next month we'll be restriction free.
Okay.
And masks, of course, masks are still in there until the 21st.
Right, but we're not going to have anyone using the hall between now and Monday.
Yeah, exactly. So that's kind of a mute point, but.
Okay, that's excellent. I guess my follow-up question is that I know when we spoke in November, whenever it was, that there was a move that someone from the board would have to be present at all times, and I'm hoping I'm going to hear that is no longer going to be a requirement.
I'm going to say formally no, but you still have to oversee the site, so and maintain public health measures. So if you feel you can do that remotely, all right.
Okay. All right, that's satisfactory. Okay, yeah, no, that's good. So really, after the 21st, when masking is gone, we really shouldn't have really any issues.
I'm still trying to get some clarification on gatherings, because like I said, it's vague, but nothing that would, I think, prevent anybody from booking.
Right, because it's not likely you're going to have a stag and doe or a wedding or something booked in the next couple of weeks.
No, I don't think so.
Okay. All right, that's excellent. Thanks, Stephanie and Curtis. And Joanne, what does that bring us to?
So the next item is number
bookings?
5, which is rentals. So we have
Okay.
another potential rentals.
Okay. I know I've had 1 or 2 people reach out to me interested. Curtis, you had indicated that there had been some interest, so I'm not sure if that was like in the ether, or if there was like specific people wanting to book for specific events?
I think we've got the usuals looking for it. So the jail down the road, the correction center, I think they
Yeah,
were looking to get back in.
Yeah,
I figured they'd reach out to you directly, and then I believe, Steph, correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe it was also the dog folks. I think we're looking to get back in.
Yeah,
Okay.
I think the Seaway Kennels reached out not too long ago.
Seaway Kennel, they want to come back.
It was them. It wasn't, I can't remember her name, Melissa, I think it was.
Yeah,
She didn't
Metro
reach,
Mon-
it wasn't
Oh.
her. Seaway had reached out. It was about a month or two ago, so it's not super recent, but relatively.
Okay, interesting. They've been gone for a while. Okay. All right, so that's something there a little bit. I know the concern that I have, and I think I probably share with most of our board, is the updating to our terms of reference, which seems to indicate that the board will be solely responsible for all administrative functions of booking usage for the hall. That seems to be a complete 180 from where we were 2 years ago, 2 years ago today, when the building shut down. And I'm just kind of curious how that came to be without any discussion with any of us.
So Kyle, I guess the best way to look at it is you guys are a board of management versus a committee of council. So that responsibility falls to the board of management to oversee the recreation or the use of the facility. I'm still in charge of the overall maintenance of it, and Stephanie is charged with the overall processes that you're required to follow in terms of booking it. But in terms of when you book, where you book, as long as you're following city policies, you should be okay. So again, we're not doing alcohol, that sort of thing, but in terms of booking it, setting rates, yes, those general ideas are for your discretion. The process in which those fall would be our responsibility to make sure that you're adhering to.
So I can review how we do it with Port Robinson right now, since they've already opened, if you want, just so it hasn't really changed. I think the only thing that's changed from what you're reading in the terms is that essentially it hasn't changed really, is that you're the final approver for anything. So essentially, people can come to you or they can come to us looking to book the hall. They submit a request. I receive that request. I send it to you and I say, do you want to approve this request? Are you available to open on the hall on this day as requested? You either say, yeah, go ahead, or no, that's not going to happen. And then we get back to them and we say yay or nay, and then we process the payment with us still. So it hasn't really changed that much.
Okay, and I'm relieved to hear you say that, because the updated terms of reference that were sent out would seem to say the exact opposite. It would seem to read that we will collect the bookings, do the showings, handle the insurance, and bring all of that paperwork to City Hall, to our best friends in the finance department, who never were very happy about us doing this. So I just want clarification, and to be clear that people call and say, hey, Kyle, I want to book the hall on this date. I can look at my little calendar and say, yeah, there's nothing booked. Go see Stephanie.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Yes, that's correct.
Yeah, that's correct. So I can,
Okay.
if you want, I can show you on my screen right now the online way to do it for Port Robinson. And so what you can do is you can either say, yep, contact these individuals. You can help them walk through the online reservation request system.
Okay.
It is just a request. It's not an actual confirmation. So when they request, they're not being a guaranteed of booking at that time. It's just sending the request to our way and doing a very quick quote for them. Essentially, it's like a rough estimate for how much it's going to cost.
Okay.
And then it comes to us, and then we kind of put it back to you to say, hey, have you either talked to this person or do you approve this? And then we go ahead and approve it.
Okay. All right. That sounds good. I guess with relation to that, then Joanna, are we able to yet again update those delightful terms of reference to mirror this?
So Curtis and I worked quite a bit on these. From what I see on here, like number 2, it says to manage the Allanburg Community Center facility and to schedule rentals and coordinate with the city of Thorold the collection of fees and insurance documents of the facility, which is
Okay.
essentially what Stephanie just said.
Okay, so that's fine. I interpreted the word coordinate to mean we will do it. Not
You're working
not
with
what
the city.
she. Sorry?
You're working with us,
With-
like with Stephanie
yeah.
to do that. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
I guess, Kyle, the best way to say this is you should never see any cash or transactions in terms of payments. That
And
should
that's
go
what I was
directly.
worried about.
Yeah, there shouldn't be any e-transfer to Kyle anymore, that sort of solution. It's going to be directly to the city.
Okay, good. I'm happy to hear you say that because I was worried that we were reverting back to where we were 5 years ago. So, okay, good. Thank you.
I guess the terms of reference is what it's trying to say is essentially you are the main facilitator of the facility. It doesn't get booked without your say.
Okay. Okay. Now I am curious, and one of you said, and I apologize, I'm still sleep deprived a bit, that we're not a committee of council, we're a board of management. I always assumed that we were a committee of council, and until recently had a council rep, which I didn't know had been not a thing anymore. So do we no longer report to council?
You still report to council, but you don't have a council rep when you're a board. Yes, we did recently do the change. You were considered a committee of council, but you were not. So we did do the change so that way you are operating as a board and not as a committee, as you were not
Okay.
following the terms of references at all before. So we're just trying to bring everything together and back to what the terms of references are.
Okay.
So you do need to do, let's say, a presentation to council, just to let them know what you're up to. I mean, you don't really have events that you put on your own. It's more a renting of the facility. So I don't think that a presentation to council would be all that beneficial to them. I mean, it could be, but it's not something that you hold events yourselves, right? As a board.
Okay. So go on.
No, go ahead.
No, go on. My apologies.
I was just saying,
Okay. So when I know that Curtis would generally put together a budget proposal as part of his department. So does that somewhat change now that I apologize about speaking in the third person, Curtis. Does that mean that you would still continue to do that, or do we have greater input directly to council to say these are the things that we as the board of management identify need to be done for this building to continue viability?
No, Kyle, you could definitely make recommendations for me and I'll put them to budget through our budget process. But that was sort of, nothing's really changed in terms of that. I would do that anyways.
Okay, so it still goes through you.
100%, yeah. And then I'll
Okay.
put it into the system. And then it's up to senior staff and council to ultimately approve or deny the request.
Okay. All right. That makes sense. Does anyone else have any questions or comments or concerns at this point about booking process or our functionality?
I have one thing. It's not really booking process, but we still have 2 vacancies on the committee, or I'm sorry, on the board.
Aha.
So does the board want me to advertise again? I mean, I've advertised already and we didn't get any, but I can definitely try again.
I mean, just speaking for myself, the board term ends this November, does it not, with elections? So
It
by the
does.
time we get something in the paper and if we find someone and council approves it, it'll be August. I don't see the point. I don't know, does anyone else have any comments or thoughts on that or anything else so far?
I agree with Kyle.
Yay, there's someone else on this Zoom call. Hi, Debbie.
Took me a while to find the mute button.
Okay, so we'll just leave it the way it is for now.
Okay.
And then we will just do applications to the board again when the new council term is elected.
Okay.
Unless something changes, of course.
Just a question, being not a committee anymore, is there a liability on us personally being on this board?
I don't know if that's necessarily the right way to say it, Debbie. I think there's a liability to all of us to run an operation that is accountable. So you would fall under the city's insurance. But yes, technically, I suppose if we were neglectful in what the activity we've allowed to do or book in the facility, then yeah, I guess theoretically all of us would be essentially accountable for those actions.
But covered by the city's policies?
Yes, depending on what the issue was. So Kyle, if we said no drinking and then you guys permitted alcohol in the facility, it could come back specifically to the members versus the city if you guys were negligent in following the rules. If that makes sense.
But as long as we follow the rules as laid out by the city, any legal actions taken against us would and should be covered by municipal insurance.
I would assume that would be a fair statement, yes.
Okay.
Thank you.
So are we still, since you mentioned it with the A word there, are we still alcohol free?
We are, because in order to have alcohol based on our policy, there needs to be a city staffer under the city's payroll at the time present.
And we still haven't figured a way around that, huh?
That is a big no.
Okay. I think we're gonna have to, that's gotta float up higher on our priority list, because I mean, we've traditionally made a lot of money from stag and does and periodically weddings, and to cut out that revenue to just run a building for kids parties is going to be, I don't know how financially viable that's going to be.
Yeah, we can consider doing something with it in the future. At this point, it'll be challenged without having any staff specifically dedicated to those facilities. We'll say that.
Okay.
But trust me, that is on my radar.
Okay. What have we got next there, Joanne?
I suppose
Hello?
if I was unmuted, you would have understood what I said. So the next item, we already talked about the terms of references, which was the next
Okay.
item. And then after that is the roundtable. So if
Okay.
anyone else has anything to add.
All right. Debbie, Jay, Dana, anything else you guys want to comment on or ask about?
I'm good, thanks.
Okay. Dana, Jay?
Just wanted to let everybody know that I'm going to try and stick out my term for as long as I can. However, I have run into some serious health issues. So making it to board meetings and such once we go back from the Zoom call to in face may be a lot more difficult for me to make it.
Well, thanks for letting us know. I'm sorry to hear you're not well.
Life happens.
So on that note, I will add that there are some discussions about meeting in person, but otherwise I don't have an update other than that. So hopefully soon I'll have an update on that.
Fair enough.
What is the holdup on that?
The provincial guidelines, we're following the provincial guidelines and the regional guidelines as well. So we're just waiting on the go ahead from everybody
To have a meeting?
in person. Yeah.
Okay.
Council isn't even meeting in person yet. So we're just trying to keep everything all together.
Oh, okay. Bizarre. All right. I was gonna ask, so I guess I don't have to now. Curtis or Stephanie, anything you guys want to add?
I don't have anything.
I'm good as well.
Okay. So I guess at this point, are we looking for direction, or are you looking for direction on an official reopening date?
I would suggest that would be a good first step.
Okay. I mean, I haven't been in the building now for 24 months. What's the condition of the build? Are we, hypothetically speaking, could we unlock the doors on Saturday?
That might be a little quick. I would suggest, Kyle, are you going to be continuing with your other duties, cleaning, et cetera, at the site, or are you looking for other?
I guess probably for the meantime, I will. I don't know. We'll say yes for now. So, okay, yes, obviously the building needs to be cleaned because I'm assuming no one's cleaned it in 2 years, which is really gross. But other than that, like, there hasn't been any damage from weather events or any kind of stuff over the last 2 years.
Not that was evident when I was in there the other week.
Okay. So how long do you figure we need until we could say the building is open?
Why don't you do this, Kyle? Why don't you go for a walk when you get a moment and check it out? You have a key fob, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so I can put access onto your key fob for that building on the back door.
Okay.
Go for a walk, check it out, see what you think.
All right.
And then just let Stephanie and I know what you're thinking about in terms of reopening dates. We can post that on the website, and at least Stephanie can be ready as well.
All right. I'll if you can put the access on today, I'll go in tomorrow.
Okay.
All right. I don't know. My feeling, see what do you guys think? If it really just needs to be cleaned, that's just a couple of hours. It's the middle, I don't know, we say April, whatever the first Saturday in April is.
The second.
That weekend, what do you guys think? Too soon? Oh, Debbie, you muted yourself instead of unmuting.
Sounds good to me.
So can we have a motion to reopen on April 2nd?
Provided, yeah, we can do that with the caveat that it's ready for April 2nd. So
Can we get a seconder?
Yeah, I'll second.
thank you. All right. Any opposed? Hearing from none. All right, motion passes. We will reopen the building April 2nd, all things considered.
So now that we have a date to reopen, I think that it would be a good idea if we continued with monthly meetings instead of every few months or not at all.
Okay.
Okay.
So we'll look for something towards the end of April, see how the first month has gone.
Sounds good.
Are the meetings usually on Mondays?
No. They haven't really, we've been fairly inconsistent. It just seems to be when collectively we're all available, given our work schedules and such. Zoom makes that convenient.
Right, so if Mondays right now, if they're good for everyone, why don't we continue with that? We can even continue with 12 o'clock.
Okay.
So I'm looking at April 11th, so that'll give you a month.
We'd only be, I know it's a month from now, but we'd have only been open for like 9 days.
Yep.
So I don't see there being much to report on. Like, maybe it might be better if we maybe have the meet. I know typically meetings are the end or the first of a month sort of thing. So I'm thinking either we do at the end of April or maybe skip April altogether and give us a month of being open and have the meeting the first week of May.
Okay, so that being said, then I do need to create a schedule for 2022 meetings.
Okay.
So we can't just, we kind of need to let the public know because these are public meetings, so they are allowed to attend.
Okay.
So I need something set in stone going forward. So we can do the first Monday in May, so that would be May 2nd.
Okay.
And then if you want to continue either with the first date of the month or the first Monday of the month, I'm okay with that too. We just need to set something up. Usually it's not done by date, and usually it's done by day of the week, let's say. So the first Monday of the month is when we would have our meeting at noon, let's say.
Right.
Because if you
But
do
that
it the
won't-
other way, then it would be the second, and then it would be the first, and then it would be the first, and then like it's kind of all over the place, right?
Right. Okay. I'm
That's fine
assuming
with
though,
me.
once we go to in-person meetings though, a Monday at noon is going to be a hard no for all of us.
Right, I'm pretty sure, I'm not 100% on this, but I'm pretty sure we're going to be keeping hybrid. So you can either come in person or join via Zoom. But don't quote me on that as no decision has been made yet, but there are discussions about that.
Okay. I don't
Why
know.
don't we set up for May 2nd at noon?
Okay.
And then once we know definitively if we're meeting only in person or hybrid or still only via Zoom, then I'll let everybody know and then we can decide if that date still works.
For the rest of the year.
Yeah.
Okay, that's fine. And when I think about it, the first of any, like the first week of any month is usually not great because you tend to have long weekends the first of the month.
Mhm.
So, we can do the first week of May. That'll be 6 weeks from now, and we'll see how the first month of being open work. But maybe then going forward, we do the second
Sure, yeah.
blank
So
of
we'll
the month.
leave it for the 2nd, and then at that meeting, we will decide the rest of the schedule for the year.
Okay, that works.
Okay?
Yep. All right, I don't have anything else to add. Does anyone else?
No, sir.
All right.
So we just need a motion to adjourn.
I'll motion to adjourn.
Seconder?
I can second.
Fabulous. Thank you, Dana. All right. Any opposed?
Take care,
Hearing-
everybody. Have a great day.
Yep. Thanks so much, guys.
Okay, thanks, everyone.
Bye. Have a great day.